This episode is brought to you by Wine to Digital, the home of Italian Wine Podcast.
Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, this is Monty Waldin hosting another episode of the Italian Wine Podcast. Today my guest is Edoardo Falvo of the Li Veli winery in Puglia. Edoardo, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Monty.
The Falvo family is a famous name in Italian winemaking, initially in Tuscany and now at Li Veli in Puglia. Briefly, Edoardo, how did your family, or how did you end up with your brother in Puglia?
Oh, it was about 10 years ago when my family, especially my uncle and my father, decided to sell their winery, their business up in Tuscany. And Alfred and I, which we grew up in a wine business, we were looking to do something new. And so we saw this opportunity. Actually, Li Veli was already a property in the family portfolio, and we decided just to buy that out and start a new project in the south.
See, many people have said, hang on a second, you could have bought some more land in Tuscany, you and your brother. You know, Tuscany's world famous, Puglia, completely unknown on the international market. Why would you want to buy something in Puglia?
Because we felt that the market in Tuscany was a little bit saturated. For example, in Chianti Classico, you already have, I don't know, maybe 1,000 producers at that time. In Montalcino, the same, 250 or something. Montepulciano already pretty crowded. And you know, Tuscany at the time was very much on the Sangiovese, talking about indigenous varietals. And we were looking for something more dynamic, something to develop as well. And so we found in Puglia a tremendous opportunity because the wineries, actually Puglia is very big. The land from north to south is about 600 kilometers, and it's a huge region for the production of grape, many indigenous grapes, and not many wineries. So we saw really a great opportunity to start in something new and develop it.
So the winery is called Masseria Li Veli. What is a masseria? What does that mean?
Masseria is the local name for estate. It's the kind of estate that you see in this part of Italy. It's a white building, 45 farms, created in the 1500 and then developed to the 16, 17, 1800. Especially Masseria Li Veli was founded in 1895 from an aristocrat family in Lecce and developed the business in the first part of the 20th century, and then they quit when the owner died in 1955.
Okay, and so you've taken over the property in which year with your brother?
The property was originally bought by my family in 1999, and they replanted most of the property, and Alfred and I took over in 2008.
So you have a fantastic range of indigenous Italian grape varieties. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, when we started, we didn't know through him a lot about the region, the history, and the varietals as well. So basically, we started with Negramaro and Primitivo, that are the two main and most important varietals planted in the region.
So they're for red wine, those two?
For red wines. But soon we discovered some very interesting varietals like Susumaniello for reds, Adriatico, which is a sweet wine, and Verdicchio and Fiano Minutolo for the whites.
So how easy is it if you're selling wines from grape varieties that not many people at that time had heard of? How difficult is that in the market?
At the beginning, it was quite difficult. I remember the first year that we presented this wine was actually in Italy, and I remember most of our clients to be quite skeptical about this new project. For example, the Susumaniello and the Verdicchio, that today are the two most important wines in our portfolio and the two most successful wines. We just made a little bottling just to try. So most of our distributors were not refusing, but I remember them being very skeptical and nominating like geeky wines and not giving much chance.
Where does Susumaniello get its name from? There are various sort of theories about it.
The Susumaniello is a quite fun grape because the grape actually is a quite late grape, that picking grape. That means
late ripening grape.
Yeah, that the skin of the grape is quite strong. So we harvested in the first decade of October, and the bunch is very, very big. So the reason why they call it a little donkey, Susumaniello in the local dialect means
little donkey.
Donkey, yeah.
So why is that?
Oh, because the bunch is able to bring so much grape.
So very high yielding. Load up the donkey.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's just. And what about you mentioned Fiano, which is a white wine grape. Tell me about Fiano.
When we started in Puglia was, I think, maybe 95% was about red grapes. Now the white grape are growing and becoming much more important. Originally, the two oldest are Verdecca and Minutolo, that came from the Valle d'Itria, which is a different area than Salento. Salento is a low hill area between the two seas. It's the south part of Puglia.
It's one of the hottest places in Italy, isn't it, Salento, where you are?
It's very warm. But, thanks to the weather is also very good for the wine growing because we are just in between two seas. That means a lot of wind, especially in our area, which is close to the Adriatic Sea. So you get a lot of wind from the north, and it's good because it dries also all the humidity that comes from the sea. And also the rain is not much during the year, but thanks to the fact that the ground is quite soft terrain and full of water, we don't need much rain.
What about you mentioned the Verdecca grape, which is a white wine grape variety. What's special about Verdecca?
Verdecca was a grape planted in Valle d'Itria in the 70s to make the Vermouth, basically.
To make vermouth?
Yeah, and we discovered in 2008, we discovered Valle d'Itria in 2008. I remember me and my brother traveling for the area, and we saw these beautiful vines, very well kept from the local growers, and we were lucky to find a good relationship with a couple of them and be able, to develop a project with them, and finally ended up with a great wine that is the Verdecca. We don't use much oak. It's just a very natural approach to the wine because it's a really brilliant wine. And for a region like Puglia, where it's all about coast, you have a lot of restaurants in the coast with fish. It was great for us to find a really very interesting local varieties for white wines.
So, you mentioned the coast. Obviously, tourism, that really is taking off in Puglia now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's growing. It's an industry that is growing every year. It's a quality industry. We don't have the most important part of the clientele is Italian, especially in this year because of the terrorism. They travel less, to countries like Morocco or Egypt, and so they discover Salento. So Salento is, I think, is growing like 10% every year in tourism.
So when Italians come to, say, from northern Italy or even from Tuscany, come down to the Salento in Puglia on holiday, do they want to drink Chardonnay and Merlot and international varieties, or are they happy to try Italian grape varieties? They've never heard their names before.
Yeah, this is not only the Italians tourists. This is happening to every tourist, Also the foreigners, when they come to Puglia, they really want to taste the local wines. And thanks to this fact, Puglia was a market that really grew fast for us in the last 10 years.
So your bet of not staying in Tuscany and coming down to Salento so kind of
I don't
paid
want
off.
to say that. I can't say that definitely was a good move to look at Salento and to plan to do this project. Yeah.
So when you're looking at, say, going back to Verdecca, you're working with grape growers. Obviously, you have certain standards of quality, and people that were possibly growing grapes for the vermouth industry initially would probably be trying to get as many grapes as they could out of their vineyard. How do you try and get them to rein down their yields? I
think this is the only thing you have to be careful about Puglia, because as I told you, you can do really great quality wines in Puglia, but the problem that the market was oriented to big volumes because they don't bottle it, but they just bring the grape to the cooperative, so they get paid on the weight, not on the quality that they produce. So our base part of the agreement was that we pay the same amount of money no matter the quantities, but we were able to select the qualities through the year, and the result is great, because if you're able to control and to reduce the quality that you make for plant, that's how you really get the real quality. And then at the winery, we don't have to work much because we really get fantastic fruit every year.
Do you think that message of quality rather than quantity is getting through to producers, say, in southern Italy?
Yes, not a very fast path like it did in Tuscany maybe, or in the north, but definitely if you compare it to 20 years ago or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, you see a big difference.
Are you seen when you go south, are you seen as a Tuscan or a Puglian, or how do people view you?
It's people are great there. They're really open, and it took me a while, to get used to. But at the beginning, I saw Li Veli just as an investment, but in the last few years, especially 2 years ago, we decided to move there and to live in Lecce with the family. And Lecce is a fantastic city.
It's a beautiful city, Lecce, isn't it? Fantastic architecture.
It's a fantastic fantastic area, all the surrounding area of Lecce. The sea is beautiful, the Ionian and Adriatic, very different, but both great. And so a couple of years ago, we decided to move down there with the family.
So when you cook at home, are you cooking Tuscan dishes or are you cooking Puglian dishes?
I cooked still Tuscan, yeah.
Really?
And speak Tuscan.
You can take the man out of Tuscany, but you can't take Tuscany out of the man.
Also, my children, they go to school in Lecce, they still speak Tuscan because
Really?
So they maybe it will change. It's just been a couple of years that we live down there, and
yeah, no, they'll probably still. I think it's when you're small and you learn to speak a certain dialect, then it sticks with you.
Yeah, you keep it at home. And my wife is from the same village I came from Montepulciano, Tuscany, so that's probably why.
Okay, Edoardo, it's been brilliant to meet you. I hope to come and see you in Li Veli and see the actual building, which is a fantastic building.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
And Puglia, honestly, is one of my favourite places. The best mozzarella I've ever had. Yeah, you've got a fantastic project going.
Thank you very much.
You definitely you bet the right horse.
Thank you very much. I hope so, but we're really happy with what we've done, really. Thank you very much.
Well done. Great to meet you.
Thank you, Monty. My pleasure.
This episode has been brought to you by Wine to Digital, the home of Italian Wine Podcast.
Follow Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.